Hey guys, what's up? And what's up to Skallagrim Nilsson? I hope I pronounced your name right, but if I didn't, forgive me for butchering the name. I saw your video on the stupidity of humans. Liked it. Of course I would like it, because if you've seen a couple of my other videos on humanity, you probably know that I'm probably just as frustrated and enamored with humans like you. It's a really weird situation to actually be in. I agree with you. Human beings are basically, it seems that they're both stupid and smart at the same time. On one hand, they're the types of people who have, for instance, developed a device that allows us to even be able to communicate in the first place, the computer, with the internet and all that, and the vast amount of knowledge it has. And yet at the same time, all people really do with the computer is pretty much look up porn and watch cartoons. We're the type of people who have come up with sciences to try to increase the amount of food that can grow for people to eat on the planet, and yet at the same time we can't seem to get this whole world peace thing going to the point where we have nations stockpiling weapons of mass destruction in an exercise of futility in terms of trying to regulate peace. We can go on and on with this. So I'm not doing this video to disagree. But nor is this going to be like a video where all I do is say, yeah, you're right, for the next few minutes, because then what's the point of that? I could just simply make a comment and move on. Rather, it was something that you said that I felt needed a little bit more exploration. And it's basically on your wonder and your amazement at the fact that human beings seem to have this duality. That on one hand, they're capable of showing such brilliance with technology and advancements in civilization and, medicine and whatever other particular fields that human beings, endeavor to expand upon and, advance and increase. They're capable of doing that, but on the other hand, they're also capable of, vast destruction and, self-destruction and, sometimes it seems that they can barely even get their shoes on in the morning. It's like, what the hell? How is it that human beings can be so stupid and so smart at the same time? How can we, be capable of trying to explore the vastness of space, yet at the same time we have mental hang-ups with treating somebody nice just because they happen to have a difference in skin tone or something different between their legs? It's weird. But I find that when I think about it for a bit, it's not too weird when you consider that generally we're dealing with two types of people. And I say this, I use generally and as strongly as possible, because I know there's more than two types of people. But generally, like them big, tall capital letters, generally we're dealing with two types of people here. We got the type of people who actually endeavor or capable of changing the world, of advancing the world. And then you have those who are just getting by. And I think the second group happens to be the majority. See, we got to remember that human beings are animals. This is one thing that we keep forgetting, or we want to forget, or we deny as much as possible and try to keep saying that, oh, it's not true, or, we're above it. No, fuck it. We're animals. All right? We are living organisms. We can be trained. We can be manipulated. And we go for the same types of resources and get, affected by the same basic stimuli as other animals. Even have similar instincts. Not the same as, others, but, similar drives, I should say. And when you look at animals, for the most part, they tend to, when they're on this planet, they don't necessarily try to excel. They just basically try to survive and try to be satisfied on this planet and in their existence. They just, as long as their basic needs are met, they're happy with that. The average human being, you see them, as long as they got a roof over their head, food to eat, and they're living fairly comfortably, that's pretty much all they want. Most human beings are happy to sit on their couch scratching their nuts and watching ESPN. Or whatever other freaking channel they happen to be, considering. Maybe somebody else would rather be watching the Oxygen channel. Who knows? But they're just, give them their snacks and give them a warm place to rest their head and a companion to chill with for a while, and they're happy, and that's it. That's what they're concerned with. And then you have the few who want something more out of that. The ones who are willing to spend their entire lives exploring the richness of their culture's literature. Those who are willing to constantly make experiments for the advancement of science. Those who are willing to tinker with things, and also those who are willing to ponder our very existence. Those who are philosophers, those who become leaders, those who want to see humanity make it to another threshold. And these are very far and few in between. Let's call them deviants, just because it's fun. And I don't mean it in a negative sense. I just mean they're the few. They're the mutants. They're the deviants. They're the ones who go beyond the pale. They're the ones who go beyond the norm. And they're the ones who are capable of changing the world, or, influencing this world. And when I say world, I basically mean the human construct world, the one that we human beings have created for ourselves. Not necessarily the planet itself, though I do know that we're capable of influencing even that. Just ask animals trying to live in a rainforest sometime. Well, metaphorically speaking. Can't exactly ask them. You wouldn't exactly get much of an answer. But yeah, it's only a few that do things that cause these advancements. I mean, yeah, a good number of us are using computers, but how many of us could actually build one from scratch? I'm not even talking about basic building. Like me, I build my own machines. I've been building my own machines since 1999. But as far as actually inventing, processors, being able to build a processor, being able to program an actual microchip, working with the silicon, I don't know how to do that. I don't even know basic electronics. I just know how to put, I know how to put computers together. But there are tons of people using computers who can't even do that. They can barely work the emails. A lot of people out here are basically taking advantage. They're benefiting from the advancements that have, carried humanity along throughout the few centuries that we've been here. Excuse the radio, that I'm at work. But yeah, it's like most of us aren't capable of doing these things, of making these advancements. Few of us are capable or even willing to do things such as lead society. Many of us are just stumbling along. And I dare say many of us are just basically stupid. And I'm not trying to, there's stupid, and then there's, that monumentally stupid that's making go, what the fuck? I mean, there's like basic human stupidity. Like when you walk into a room and suddenly you forgot why the hell you went in there. Or, I'm pretty sure you can come up with, basic examples of just basic human stupidity. Like, hitting your car just because it didn't start up the morning. Why the hell are you hitting a car? It's not alive. It's not exactly its fault. You know what? Like, just dumb things like that. But then you got the people who, cause the problems that you're talking about. The ones who start wars, the ones who do the pollution that ends up fucking the planet over, the ones who, bring the entire planet to a risk of total annihilation by stockpiling nuclear weapons. And those types happen to be among the same types who can influence the world. It's just that those are the ones who are just doing it out of greed. And it's dangerous because, again, they're the ones influencing the world that the rest of the humanity just happens to inhabit and just live in. And I think that's where you get the duality from. You got like those who are actually able to change things, and many of them try to do it for the better, and everyone else takes advantage of that. And to make matters worse, some of those who are even among those who can change things in the world will do it for their own benefit or do it for greed and with a lack of insight, and they bring the stupidity that human beings are capable of to monumental levels, to dangerous levels. And I think that's where the duality is coming from. Or at least basically that's where it's coming from. I'm pretty sure there are other factors we can, bring up. But generally, a lot of the advancements that we're seeing only came from the minds of a few people. The rest of us are just, muddling along. All these cars that we have, Tons of people know how to drive them. Few people know how to work on them. None, not even, forget about building them. You got airplanes in the air. Most of the people who are flying don't actually do the flying. They're the ones sitting in the middle of the plane, complaining about the fact that they're not getting decent meals. And never mind being able to actually build the plane to fly it. They don't even know how to fly it. Somebody else is doing the flying for them. And they don't even know basic aerodynamics to know how to get a plane up there. They're basically benefiting from the work of a few brilliant minds. So it's not really all of humanity that you can say is smart in the sense that you're talking about the advancements. Though, of course, humanity has the potential. So that's the thing. There's potential, and then there's the reality. And few people ever reach that potential. Few people even have that potential to do the things that later on all of humanity tries to take credit for. Even though they're just taking advantage of it. They're just benefiting from it. From whether it be the advancements in human understanding of, what it means to be human, social theories and ideas on equality and all that, advancements in medicine, advancements in technology, advancements in civilization, agriculture, all that. Those come from a few minds, and everyone else is just happy it's there and they take advantage of it. But those people aren't brilliant enough to work with it. Sometimes you have those knuckleheads ending up in leadership somehow. And since they don't really have the minds to fully understand what they're working with, they end up doing stupid things with these advancements. Forget about the guy who's doing it out of vindictiveness or, doing it out of, because he's simply greedy and short-sighted. There's just some people who just simply just dumb people in the wrong position, in the wrong place at the wrong time. They don't have the minds of the few that actually, brought these things about. Now, I'm not trying to make it look like, there's only 5%, brilliant people and the rest of the world are just idiots fucking things up. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more, but I still think it's a few. There are few people who are willing to do what it takes to actually do the things that change the world or bring it to a new direction. Those who are willing to, obsessively work on a certain field of human endeavor just because it interests them. And then because of that interest, it ends up changing the world in some way and changing the way we look at things or how we work with things, changing the way we, new tools for us to play with since we are tool using animals. And the rest of us are just happy to take it and just move along. Because, again, humanity are animals, and animals just, as long as they have their basic needs met, as long as you make them happy, they can just sit there being happy and they won't really go much further. And those are the ones who aren't exactly as brilliant as the rest. And I think that's where the duality is coming from. They're basically living in the world that was built by smarter people. And probably built for smarter people. Not necessarily for those who don't really get it. I think the internet is a really good example of that. I've been online since 95, 96, and the internet has changed drastically. Much of it for the better, but much of it for the worse. When the internet was first being birthed, not everybody could get on it. Not everyone was smart enough to get on it or had the means to get on it. And if you did get on it, I still remember things like, message boards and forums actually didn't have jackasses posting on there. If there were, they usually got shut down by people who were smarter than them on a variety of topics. But as it got easier and easier to get on, and, more and more of, the common type person got on, the general masses, you start seeing the internet reflecting the general masses. So now it's mostly geared toward entertainment. Now it's mostly geared toward satisfaction, not necessarily on pushing the limits and seeing how far you can go with things. You don't really necessarily have serious debates anymore, which actually went for a long time, and it was actually, for the most part, civil. Now it's just flame wars. You're seeing ridiculous things being passed off as theories. I'm pretty sure we don't have to start getting into stuff like creationists and all that. This is something that's a fairly recent phenomenon in terms of the internet and debating and stuff like that, because now everybody can get on. It just reflects that. It reflects much of humanity. Not everyone is smart. Not everyone is brilliant. Maybe they had the potential for it, or should I say the whole of humanity has the potential for it, but the individuals, that's a different story. There's some individuals who just, quite frankly, aren't really going anywhere in terms of, advancing human society or showing any type of brilliance. And there are those who have the potential but don't necessarily want to use it. So we're dealing with a world, and we're dealing with advancements, and we're dealing with smarts that could really only be attributed to a few people, despite the fact that all of humanity would love to take credit for it. So yeah, I'm beginning to repeat myself now, but that's the point I wanted to make. As far as your frustration with it, I definitely am with you on that. It's the same frustration I have. As far as the wonderment, it does amaze me, but it doesn't amaze me as much as it used to, because I basically see it as, a bunch of, just mild-mannered people living in a world that was created by and possibly for more advanced minds, so to speak. And when I'm saying more advanced, I'm not trying to make it sound like some Ubermensch thing or anything like that. Or like, these guys are, like some type of superheroes or something, or mental giants. It's just more like, they're smart enough to go a bit beyond what we normally see out of human beings. The type of people who, if they were given a choice, between watching, say, the latest video from Miley Cyrus or listening to a lecture, on advanced astrophysics, it's only a few people who would be going for the latter. And I'm pretty sure you'd agree. So that's what's going on here. Anyway, enough of that. And actually, I'm going to end this here. The one on swords and the one on the reverse grip, I'll make a separate recording on that, because I got something to say on that too. But I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you see where I'm coming from with that. Like your video. Like your channel, pretty much. Catch you later. And for everyone else, catch you guys later.